Hello, my name is Mark Simmons from Co-op Culture, and welcome to the second of our short videos around legal structures for UK cooperatives and community businesses. And in this video we're going to look at legal forms versus organisational type. So in video 1 we used this example of the incorporation of a group of 5 farmers to create an incorporated organisation. Through this process of incorporation and creating a new legal person, and we talked about the pros and cons of why you might do that. And then we looked at the sort of like the family tree, the landscape of the different legal forms that you can use in the UK, and we talked very briefly about all of these different types of legal form. And in further videos we're going to go on to differentiate between them and help you navigate the choices between choosing which legal form is the most appropriate for your organisation and how you can swap and change between them or not, as may be the case. So, but first of all, before we do that, I want to make the distinction between legal form and organisational type. So that family tree that we covered in the previous video with things like companies, societies, KICs, partnerships, SKIOs, that's the legal form. That's how the law regards the organisation. However, the groups that I'm working with, their attitude to these sort of things is they're almost like tools to get the job. They're vehicles that they need to use. The things that they're really interested in, the really things they get passionate about, are these things that come under the category of organisational type. So that's how the organisation regards itself. Now the two things have a relationship, but you can create two separate lists of legal forms and organisational type. So here with organisational type we're talking about things like social enterprises, so organisations that exist and trade for a social purpose and principally reinvest their profits. Community businesses, businesses owned by the communities in which they trade, and there are various definitions available for that. Cooperatives, organisations that are owned by the people who trade with them, and the organisation satisfies their various mutual needs. You often hear terms like collective. All collective means that is all of the members of the organisation are also on the governing body, and various other ones like social firms and community supported agriculture and not-for-profit. So you can see how these things they've got a more like a branding feel. Really, they're how you boast about your organisation to the wider world, and it may be that you mix and match and use different ones for different audiences. And the metaphor that I like to use is it's a bit like the legal form is a jam jar, just an empty jam jar that you can put pretty much anything in, and your organisational type is your jam. So the thing that you're really, it's the stuff that's really related to the vision and the mission of the organisation. And any organisation will be a combination of both of them. So for instance, you could be a company and a social enterprise and a cooperative and a community supported agriculture project. Similarly, you could also be a cooperative society and a social enterprise and a cooperative, etc., etc. So you can mix and match this thing. So that's the take-home message with that jam and jam jar. You need this legal form because you need to create this new legal person that you can be inside and limit your personal liability. But the stuff you're really interested in and the stuff that you will be sort of reporting on, boasting about and interacting with the wider world is this sort of stuff. And there is a relationship between them, and we'll explore that relationship in further videos when we look at how you might choose your different legal forms. So just before we leave this, what about charity? Because charity is basically a tax status. That it's by virtue of what you do, if it fits a set of criteria and your governance is set up in the right way, you can get charitable status, which means you get various tax benefits, but it also comes with various restrictions on what you do. So stretching this sort of jam jar metaphor, it's a bit like a fair trade mark that you'd stick on the side of your jam jar. And the relationship with the various different legal forms is that not all of them can be charitable. So for instance, in this day and age, you'd really only be looking at a private company limited by guarantee, which you'd set up and register with Company House, and then you'd register separately with the Charity Commission. A charitable incorporated organisation, or a Scottish charitable incorporated organisation, which you would register directly with the Charity Commission or the Office of the Scottish Charity Regulator, or an exempt charity, Charitable Community Benefit Society, which you would register with HMRC. So really you're only looking at those three. KICs, by definition, cannot be charities. They're an alternative to going down the charity route. Although you can convert a KIC into a charity and vice versa. And in later videos we'll have a look at how you can interconvert between some of these different types of legal form. So that's legal forms, that's organisational types, and a very, very brief look at charity. And in later videos we'll be diving into these things in a bit more depth. And in the next video we'll be looking at how do you choose which legal form for your organisation.